Hi everyone, my name's Tia and welcome to Bulrush Ranch. This is my kitchen. Today I'm going to be making beef stroganoff in a slow cooker. So first thing we're going to do is start off with a full onion. Doesn't really matter what size onion you like, just whatever's to your liking. I'm just going to chop the onion up. When I cut up an onion, what I like to do is have a bowl of water next to me because I find that it actually helps you not cry or get affected by the onion as much. Some onions are stronger than others. I still think that some can cause you to cry a little bit more. But just cutting it up there, I've had no problems. My bowl of water's right here, so that's helped heaps. So just pop the onion aside in a bowl. And the next thing we're going to So what we'll do now is I'm just taking some gravy beef and I'm just going to roughly cut it up into pieces. I don't cut it very accurately, just sort of however, because it is going in the slow cooker. It's going to cook all day and it will be fall apart when it comes out. That's what we really want. We want it to be that type of meat that just when you put your fork into it, it just falls apart and really thin. So just roughly chop it up. Doesn't really matter what sizes you do it into. If you like it a little bit smaller, you're welcome to do that. But for me, I don't really have a lot of time to be sitting in the kitchen cutting meat in tiny cubes. So that's my meat cut up now. So we'll just pop that back onto the plate. And what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to quickly wash my hands. Okay, so with the beef, what I'll do now is I'd like to take a Ziploc bag and pop a bit of flour. You can use plain flour. Today I've got corn flour because that's what I had on hand. And I put a bit of corn flour in there, maybe about 2 tablespoons. And then I just pop the meat in there. And what we're going to do is coat the meat in the flour. So that just gives the meat, I think it gives it a little bit more flavour and it helps with the cooking as well. I don't always do it, but today we will be doing that. So just to show you how I do that. And just pretty much just coat the meat in the bag until most of that meat is coated. And there it's done. Okay, the other thing I have here is my mushrooms. They're already cut up. They were already sliced from the shop. You can use whole button mushrooms if you like, but use whatever mushrooms that you actually like. So these ones are about 500 grams of mushrooms. If you don't like a lot of mushrooms, put less mushrooms, but we like mushrooms, so that's what we're using, about 500 grams of mushrooms. So we're going to go over to the slow cooker now and I'll show you how it all looks when we put it in the slow cooker. Okay, so what we're doing is we're just popping our beef that we coated in our bag with flour into the bottom of the crock pot. So I'm just going to put that in there like that. Really easy. And I'm going to add my onions on top. Simple. And then after the onions, we're going to pop some Worcestershire sauce. Now, the recipe calls for about a tablespoon, so I just throw it in. I know what a tablespoon to me looks like, so there's a little bit more because we like that. And then we're going to pop in some tomato paste. So you can use whatever. If you've got homegrown tomato paste that you've made yourself, about a tablespoonish goes in there. Mine's shop bought, but that's what I have at the moment. And the next thing, I'm just going to wash this off. Okay, so the next thing we're going to pop in is some stock. Now, the recipe also calls for beef stock, but I don't have beef stock. I really don't use beef stock. So I've got my own stock that I make. It's a stock paste, and I just add a cup of water with that. So with my stock vegetable paste, I just pop in about a tablespoon and a bit of my stock paste because it is quite strong. And then I add in 1 cup of water. Well, that's a glass, so I know I need that because I've got a fair bit of water in there. But what I was going to say about the stock is you can use cubes. So if I didn't have this on hand, the other thing I have in my cupboard is some stock cubes. I've got vegetable stock cubes and chicken stock cubes. So I would have added maybe 2 of those to this recipe. just to give it flavour. But you can use what you have on hand. But like I said, the recipe calls for about a cup of beef stock. The next thing we're going to do is pop in our mushrooms. So these are all nice sliced up. So we're just going to pop them in. It looks like a lot of mushrooms, but they'll cook down. And like I said, our family, they like mushrooms and they're pretty good for you. So, and I'm just going to take my spoon and stir that up. Just make that all combined. And if I think I need a bit more water, sometimes you do. You can tell, but you don't want to add too much, because if you add too much water to your slow cooker, it will just get really runny. But we do have that corn flour in there to help it, so I think this will need a little bit more water in there today. So I usually just put a bit as I go. I'll just grab some filtered water we have. So I'm just going to pop in. I don't want to put too much, just a little bit extra. So I probably put a quarter of a cup there. It really wasn't much. And that just keeps it so it won't dry out. But I will check on it during the day. I usually leave them, but this one I like to keep a little eye on it. So that is it for now. So I'm just going to pop the lid on. What I'll actually be doing later, so once it's cooked, I'll probably cook this probably for about 5 hours, but just before then, so maybe at 4 hours, I'm going to add in some sour cream, forgot the name of it, and I'll probably add in about maybe a couple of tablespoons of sour cream, and I'll mix that in, then I'll let it cook for an hour, and then that should be ready. But we'll come back when I add the sour cream to it tonight and show you just how I pop that in. Then I'll probably be serving that with pasta. Kids like pasta, we eat gluten-free pasta, so I'll cook up pasta and be serving that with that and some veggies on the side. So this is how we do it. So I'm just going to pop it on and pop it on high, and that will cook all day, about 5 hours I think. If it changes, I will let you know, and we'll go from there. Okay, so now we're going to give it a bit of a stir. It's looking good. The mushrooms have all cooked down. Meat's almost fall apart stage. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some salt and pepper. And I'm going to add a little splash of red wine. That in, and then the next thing I'm going to do is we're just going to pop in some, I'm going to thicken it slightly because it's a little bit thin. As you can see, it's a little bit runny still. It's good like that, but we like a little bit thicker. I've just prepared some corn flour with a bit of cold water, so there's no lumps in it. I'm just going to pour a little bit of that in. That will thicken it up nicely as it cooks for the next hour. And then the last ingredient I'm popping in is a good tablespoon of, maybe 2 tablespoons of sour cream. And just stir that in. That should make it nice and creamy. Just stir it around until it's all combined. Oh, and the other thing I did put in here, which I didn't film, was I put a teaspoon of garlic powder in there. So we like our garlic, so pop a teaspoon of garlic powder in there. That's not in the recipe, nor is the red wine, but nor is the salt and pepper actually. So I've just popped salt, pepper, a little splash of red wine, and the garlic powder, teaspoon, and the sour cream, a couple of tablespoons. And we're going to just let that set now, and we're going to let it go for cook for another hour, and it'll be ready to serve. So our slow cooker's finished cooking our beef stroganoff. I've popped it onto warm, and it's smelling really good and it's looking lovely. If we bring you over here for a second, we'll show you what it looks like, but it just falls apart. If I can do it without burning any of myself. There we go. So yeah, it's beautiful. So what I'm actually going to do now is pop in some frozen peas and corn while it's on warm. Just maybe about a cupful or two. No, it's about a cupful, I say. We're just going to mix that in and stir it in, and then I'm just going to leave that on warm. And those frozen peas and corn, they will cook in that warmth that's already in the pot. So that's dinner tonight. That's finished. And thank you for watching, and we'll see you again soon.